In this module, you will learn the value of coaching conversations as you collaborate with paraprofessionals. You will be introduced to the roles and responsibilities of the special educator as you collaborate with paraprofessionals to deliver the best inclusive education possible for all students. Additionally, you will learn valuable coaching conversation practices and strategies that will enhance the collaborative partnership with paraeducators. You will read the latest research regarding the role and responsibilities of paraprofessionals, and as a special educator, you will be expected to supervise and organize schedules for paraprofessionals. This module provides helpful information to make this arduous task more efficient. Finally, you will have an opportunity to explore ways to develop a partnership with paraprofessionals that focuses on professional development and student growth within a collaborative relationship. The objectives of this course are to define the supervisory role of the teacher, to understand the infrastructure components necessary to avoid proximate harm and encourage collaborative relationships, to understand and describe the components that create third space dialogue, and to demonstrate questions or phrases that open up space for coaching conversations. How lucky you are as students that supervision is being addressed by our university. The research has established that often teachers are unprepared for this responsibility. Because paraeducators are older, in truth, usually older than I am, as when I retired from teaching, 2 of my paraeducators were still older than me, we tend to treat paraeducators as co-teachers. They have neither the experience nor the certification. They are not co-teachers. The responsibility of supervision is simple. Building a collaborative team that includes paraeducators occurs when the role of each team member is clear. This clarity occurs because of what we do. Today's presentation will give you this to-do list of responsibilities, and this listing is designed to improve your workload, not to make things harder. The responsibilities of supervision are simple. Building a collaborative team that includes paraeducators occurs when the role of each team member is clear. This clarity occurs because of what we as teachers do. Today's presentation will give you this to-do list of responsibilities. Again, this listing is to improve your workload, not to make things harder. You already know your role as the teacher. Firstly, you conduct overall program planning, overseeing academic goals and objectives, addressing standards, lesson planning, prescribing and managing the instructional environment. Secondly, instruction, based on unit plans, lesson plans, and student accommodation needs. Thirdly, assessment, collecting, coordinating, and interpreting information from students that includes current level of functioning and accommodation needs, as well as the reports of student progress. Fourthly, collaboration, consulting with all other academic personnel, teachers, paraeducators, administration, health services, etc. This also includes, number 5, supervision of paraeducators, establishing their role, building a relationship, and fulfilling key responsibilities. Now notice the paraeducator's role as it is defined federally. It is limited to reinforcing and augmenting your effort by providing students with instructional support under your direction. While the law has recognized that paraeducators do exist, it has never been the intent of the law for paraeducators to replace good teaching. A series of mandates beginning with PLESEA in 1994 to IDEA in 2004 make it clear that students are successful when quality teachers are in play. Legislation such as Head Start, Title I, the Individuals with Disabilities Act, and Elementary and Secondary Education Act, formerly known as No Child Left Behind, have all addressed teacher quality as a necessary improvement component. Such intensification could not have predicted its outcome. With limited number of highly qualified teachers available, local agencies have hired paraeducators to assist with direct instruction of students and other duties. The number of paraeducators hired has vastly increased, and each surge can be correlated with an authorization. The forethought to regulate a personnel that has increased 1,178% since 1969 did not occur. Consideration is now due. This proliferation of paraeducators has occurred with limited guidance concerning their supervision. Paraeducators have a role within public schools that has merit, as the French and Chopra research illustrates. But as Gian Greco and his colleagues have pointed out, due to lack of policies to regulate paraeducators, public schools' history has not always shown the best practice for students. Our current policies still need to address further regulations for paraeducators, but simply being compliant with our current policies will begin to change our poor history into one that improves education for all students. Both certified and uncertified personnel with well-defined roles can build a collaborative relationship, each fulfilling their respective duties. Forgive me for repeating myself here, but paraeducators are not certified personnel. The paraeducator's role is to reinforce and augment curriculum and instruction, and it occurs because a certified teacher provides instruction to pupils first and plans how, where, and when reinforcement occurs for the pupil. Your first step towards compliance with the law is to know that all lesson plans are written by the teacher. When a paraeducator works with any teacher, general educators are included here, it is the role of the teacher to direct the academics for students. I don't really need to tell you the components of a lesson plan, but sharing an academic plan with uncertified personnel may change how you create lesson plans slightly. An experienced teacher might be able to be given a direction that involves only a textbook page number because of pedagogic depth. Paraeducators, however, will need so much more. Using a lesson plan format can shorten the amount of time you spend writing the plans. Long-term goals, student strengths and needs, successful prompt strategies, and data structure may stay the same for several lessons. Therefore, a format can be created that contains this information. Devise your system that saves you time without shortcutting the necessary information. Handing paraeducators a sheet of paper with an academic plan for a student is a good beginning, but uncertified personnel will need observations, feedback, professional development, and coaching to follow these instructions in a manner that all pupils benefit from. To include all of the responsibilities associated with supervision, one must build an infrastructure where these responsibilities are built into the academic day. Our time as educators is so limited, but with a good schedule, these components of supervision are easily addressed. Creating a schedule for the paraeducator that not only enhances student progress, but the professional growth of paraeducators begins first with your ability to delegate tasks to this paraeducator. As you adapt your role as a teacher to include supervision, delegating some tasks to others becomes imperative. You are not able to do it all, and nor should you try. A collaborative team will always be more productive than one person alone. These advantages French has listed are obvious, but it may be a characteristic of teachers to feel driven to accomplish everything themselves. I hope you have less troubles with delegation than I had. One cannot accomplish a task if a block of time within which to accomplish that task is unavailable. As you build a schedule to direct the paraeducator's time to attend to their assigned task, including components that assure collaboration is important. Infrastructure must be constructed, a supportive system for completing tasks. We may have all of the time there is, but to use our time constructively, plans have to be laid. One advantage of creating a written schedule is the analysis it lends towards paraeducator efficiency. A paraeducator assigned to a pupil from 10 a.m. to 12 noon may appear to be busy, but if the pupil has recess and does not need extra supervision during playtime, then that paraeducator is getting an extra 15 to 20-minute break. Another teacher could well use a hand during this time. When the approach is to avoid proximate harm, and therefore paraeducators are not assigned one-on-one with the pupil, many more pupils will benefit. Another advantage to this scheduling system is that everyone involved can have a copy of the schedule. The principal, the secretary, others on the academic team, even you can find this paraeducator at a moment's notice, as the schedules are shared with all involved. When a paraeducator works with several teachers, a team approach cannot be established if only you know where the paraeducators are. The parents also benefit from paraeducators with written schedules. It was mentioned in slide 6 that supervision involves observation, feedback, professional development, and coaching. A portion of the supervisor's time must be designated for these components. Begin by scheduling time in your own schedule to observe your paraeducators, to describe what was seen and to interpret what it means, defines observation. So it is not a difficult task to complete. However, it will have to be on the schedule for it to occur. Observations can occur in less than 10 minutes, though it should be tailored to fit the activity. Take a moment to note the observation, for as in all collaborative teaming events, notes are necessary for specific application. To provide the paraeducator feedback following an observation, simply describe what was seen and interpret what it meant. One block of time on the paraeducator's schedule and the supervisor's schedule needs to be a time for just the two to meet. The mindset that there is no time in the day for the teacher and the paraeducator to meet is often the result of one-on-one assignment arrangements. Paraeducators who are with students the entire day and only work when the students are in attendance indeed do not have time to meet with their supervisors. However, when the approach is collaborative, in contrast, where students' needs are analyzed moment by moment with independence goals and recognition of achieved skills, blocks of extra time become evident. Scheduling a 15 to 30-minute weekly meeting for supervisor and paraeducator communication, scheduling monthly academic team meetings that include paraeducators for at least part of the meeting, and scheduling professional development time can and is possible. During a set weekly scheduled time, the teacher and paraeducator team can accomplish the following: problem solve students' academic concerns and offer feedback related to job performance observations. This collaborative meeting time needs to respect both the students' and adult learner needs. A separate location away from students is necessary, not just a corner of the classroom where academics are currently in place. As in all collaborative cultures, notes are taken to document decisions made for students as well as for other team players involved. Cues that a paraeducator has a skill weakness can become evident in several different ways. The entire academic team can provide observational feedback. The interview process with newly hired personnel may expose a lack of knowledge. In a passing conversation, a paraeducator may expose a lack of understanding, or the adoption of new materials for a student may obviously expose missing knowledge. Professional development for the paraeducator is the natural outcome of deficiency awareness, but your observation and follow-up feedback session with the paraeducator will be a constant clue as to the professional development needs. Offering this professional development to the paraeducator is an option, since a collaborative infrastructure has been established, but the strategies involved in presenting these new skills depend upon your skills with dialogue and coaching.